China put on more rare earth export controls last night, and Argentina is rich in rare earths and rich in uranium, and I think they are committed to U.S. private companies coming in and being good partners with them.
China overnight defending new export controls of rare earth minerals as a, quote, legitimate measure. This as the White House plans to hit an additional 100% tariff on Beijing starting November 1st. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer joins me now. Ambassador, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So huge developments on Friday. President Trump canceling his plans to meet with Xi Jinping at the end of the month, also announcing these 100% tariffs on top of the existing 30% set to begin November 1st. Countries all over the world are going to be impacted by this. The Ministry of Commerce posted overnight China's export controls are not export bans. Licenses will be granted for eligible applications. Before the measures were announced, China had already notified relevant countries and regions through bilateral export control dialogue mechanisms. I assume the U.S. was not notified since the president said this came as a surprise. But how do you read this message? Does this look like a walk back to you guys?
Well, clearly, the Chinese have realized that they have wildly overstepped the bounds of what's acceptable. I can tell you that we were not notified, and quickly, as soon as we found out from public sources, we reached out to the Chinese to have a phone call, and they deferred. However, in the past couple of days, I think it's become very clear to everybody that this power grab by the Chinese won't be tolerated. So I think some of this messaging has signaled that they understand that there's a serious issue here.
Do you see this meeting happening between Trump and Xi at the end of the month?
Well, it could. The president's going to be over there. Presumably, President Xi will be there. If there's an interest in talking, the president famously is always willing to talk. We've already had outreach at the staff level on the Chinese side. So we will see. What I will say is, we cannot allow this new program to assert control over exports of technology in the United States and around the world. That's something that can't stand.
And that's a point we should get to, because rare earths are critical for a lot of things, everything from semiconductor chips to electric vehicles. There's been a lot of focus on the tariff threat and how that would affect regular people. But, how could China's crackdown on these rare earths have big consequences? And what is the plan? Does Argentina end up playing a role?
Well, listen, we use the term rare earths. They're actually not that rare. We have them in the U.S., Australia, Argentina, as was noted. The challenge is that China has controlled all the processing. Almost 90% of the processing. They've amassed a monopoly, and they've undercut other countries that try to produce it. So that's why we're in this particular situation. So certainly other countries can play a part in this. And by the way, the rare earths and these critical materials, they certainly go into household objects, cars, smartphones we talk to each other on. But there are also other applications, satellites and defense equipment. So this is a serious issue.
The rare earths were one point of leverage that we know China was going to hold on to ahead of these trade negotiations. The other point of leverage is these soybean farmers. China's been holding U.S. soybean farmers hostage for about a year. Last year, the U.S. exported $12.6 billion in soybeans to China. This year, it's zero. And China represents 49% of the market for soybeans. The administration's been planning a bailout for these farmers. It was stalled by the shutdown. But can you tell us what that will ultimately look like?
Sure, that will look like a bridge. There will be some pots of money that will be deployed for a bridge for our farmers. We know our farmers don't want a handout. They want to trade. So one thing that my office is doing and the president is doing is we're also opening markets overseas. Cambodia has lowered its tariffs on soybeans already. Vietnam has done the same. A number of countries are doing purchase orders, and not just with soybeans, other row crops like corn, et cetera. So and we're looking at domestic uses of soybeans as well, and fuels, et cetera. So there are a multi-pronged approach to solving that issue.
The Treasury Secretary said we might be seeing something like direct subsidies through the Farm Credit Bureau. Is that coming together?
That's possible. I know he's looking into it, and they're looking at interest rates, which really skyrocketed for farmers under President Biden. A lot of input costs skyrocketed. We have a bumper crop this year. So all of this has come together in a little bit of a perfect storm. And so that's why we're looking not only at the Farm Credit Bureau, but other tools as well.
And finally, how about the market reaction to all of this? The Wall Street Journal said that Friday's slide was really not massive by historical standards, but, quote, its breadth and its focus on red-hot tech shares and smaller banks rattled some analysts and portfolio managers who had come to believe that the 2025 market advance had grown immune to trade war tensions. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, I think that it's common when the Chinese take a broad action like this, purporting to control the world's technology supply chains and have a veto on anything we want to send from America to Mexico or Europe to Australia. I think that is a normal reaction for the markets to have some concern. That being said, these measures aren't in place yet. The tariffs aren't in place yet. It's scheduled for November 1st. So I think we'll see the markets calm this coming week as they see things settle out, hopefully.
And have you heard any response from China about the 100% tariffs that the president threatened to take effect November 1st? Or are they planning any additional tariffs on their end?
Well, their announcement today, they didn't announce anything specific. Again, I think that they've realized they've overstepped. And remember, we've had a deal in place with China since May where we said we'll keep our broad tariffs in check if you keep sending us rare earth magnets. We've kept our broad tariffs in check, and they've decided to expand their controls on rare earths. So clearly there's a violation of our agreement there. So it makes sense that the president would take an enforcement action or propose an enforcement action. So there's certainly room for off-ramps here for China. And the president continues to have a great relationship with President Xi. We talk to our counterparts, but we need to make sure that we can find a way back to the stable situation we were in a week ago.
All right. We will continue to watch it. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.